And welcome into another episode of Dan D'Antoni Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan O'Shea and Tony Casper. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Well,
it's good to hear.
Almost the end of the week.
Yes.
Amen, brother. I actually enjoy doing this on a Thursday as we're recording this just because tomorrow is Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got
nice to have that feeling, that Friday feeling.
It is.
Yes,
Definitely is. Got a few topics to talk about. I feel like we've kind of shifted focus away from just talking about whatever to doing news, and I like it. I feel like we're like newscasters now on sports. Like what Sports Center should be.
I think I kind of like the dynamic of us recapping news. It's not necessarily breaking unless something happens while we're here, but it's recapping. To me, it's recapping a week of news, and then we usually do something fun and some kind of predictions. I'm down with that.
Yep, we will have one thing. I think I have that for topic 1, but I think I'm going to bump that to topic 5 and put topic 1 or put topic 5 at topic 1.
Oh,
so
fucking switching it up.
Yeah, so.
As far as anybody that is listening, we don't know what the topics are going to be.
Oh, I know what the topics are going to be.
Yeah.
Dan O'Shea, I am sorry for this. Topic 1, formerly topic 5. Mekhi Becton, injured, done for the season. Basically, second straight season that he's been out the entire season. Last year he played 1 game. This year he's going to get none. Are the Jets in trouble? Kind of. Did they do something to try and fix the situation? Yes. They decided to bring in on a 2-year deal former Seahawks and literally only lineman worth anything in Seattle, Dwayne Brown.
Yeah. The pain's still deep. But this is all, Becton is maybe too large of a human to play football. It's pretty clear that he needs to get his weight down further than where it was. His playing weight, I think, needs to be at 340, not 360. They decided not to do the surgery last year, and that's looking like it was a mistake. We changed a lot of our medical staff, and I was hoping that would mean better results on the medical side, but so far it's seeming like similar stuff to the old medical staff with making these mistakes. So, you might not see Becton in the Jets uniform again. I guess we'll see. Welcome to your Saquon Barkley, my friend.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. It's been a wild ride, I would think, for Jets fans. Mekhi, you're going to draft an offensive lineman basically no matter what. It's just what offensive lineman are you going to get? Is it going to be Andrew Thomas? Is it going to be Tristan Wirfs? Is it going to be Jedrick Wills? You guys end up with Mekhi Becton. A lot of fans fell in love with him because of his speed at the combine and how well he performed there. A lot of fans thought, I don't know, he's kind of green, kind of raw. He's got some tools, but it's going to take a lot of sharpening. And then he looked good his rookie year. And I'm sure
he looked so good that I still blame Greg Van Roten for injuring him. So
yeah, so it seemed like maybe the Jets fans were kind of like, you know what? Maybe this guy's going to be good. Maybe for once they didn't fuck up the draft. And then he gets hurt year 2. And then they also supplement, who's the other offensive lineman they just drafted?
They got Elijah Vera-Tucker last year.
Yes, Elijah Vera-Tucker. Yeah.
And we also have a guy named Max Mitchell who we're hoping can maybe step up, but we'll see.
Yeah, so
New York draft picks to me are like the flag in golf. It gives you fucking hope, but it's just there to fucking taunt you.
Yes. As we are now joined by Dan Beebe. Dan, we are talking about Mekhi Becton's injury with the New York Jets. So, like I said, second year, he gets injured after one game. And the hopes are high, Elijah Vera Tucker, and you've got what should be a returning Mekhi Becton. You got a quarterback that the fans are excited about. You got Corey Davis. You got Elijah Moore. You got a running back that you drafted that, again, fans you're feeling good about. And then this just basically all comes crashing down again with Mekhi Becton being injured. Do we expect Dwayne Brown to be able to step in completely for Mekhi Becton? Do we have concerns with Dwayne Brown, Dan O'Shea, you being the resident Jets fan? Do you feel like, okay, Jets did a great job addressing this issue, or is it a thing of, well, here we go again, and let's hope this works?
I thought it was a good response to what happened. You know, I still think maybe we could have done more in the offseason to reinforce the line. But after the injury, yeah, you absolutely needed to sign somebody. You needed a body, because it's certainly not going to be Chuma Edoga. He kind of sucks. So now it's going to be interesting because, you know, Brown has played at LT his whole career. Fant was supposed to be our starting LT. He played at right tackle for us in the past, and he's serviceable at right tackle, but he's not as good as he is at left tackle. But since he's played there before, and you got a month to get these guys ready, you know, do you move him over, or do you try and ask Dwayne Brown to play out of his normal position that he's played in for, you know, a decade? I think he will stand back over. And, you know, it brings the line, you know, back up to league average, instead of being, you know, with having a giant hole at right tackle that you're asking, you know, a fourth round rookie to fill in. That sounds like a bad thing.
Yeah, you don't want to necessarily have to rely on your fourth-round draft picks. But I can tell you from experience that sometimes those fourth-round draft picks can come in and surprise people. Dak Prescott. So it you know, you never know. But yeah, I think signing Dwayne Brown, or really any experienced solid left tackle or right tackle, or any position on the line, was a good move.
Yeah. He's old, and we gave him a contract of 2 years for $22 million. It's an overpay, but really, what choice do we have at that point?
You have to get somebody to protect that side. I mean, there's no two ways about that. Yeah, Sam Darnold staying alive is worth the $22 million.
Well, luckily it's not Sam Darnold. It's Zach Wilson now.
Zach Wilson, sorry, not Sam Darnold. I don't know why I thought
it's a carousel. It's fine. The funny thing is we were already in talks with him before Becton got injured, and I'm sure, we could have gotten him had we just pulled the trigger for less than that. But, of course, the timing just works out perfectly for against the Jets, as, tends to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
The Namath curse lives on, as I mentioned in our group chat when the news broke on this.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, so he's, the way that Joe Douglas has done contracts, he's always high on flexibility, so I assume that we'll be able to get out of this next year without much of an issue or cap hit. And
I imagine the way that
they overpay at this point. You don't have a choice, so it is what it is.
I imagine the way that they structured the contract was when it happened, he probably got more money than you probably could have gotten that deal. You're probably right. But I would imagine that they structure the contract where he's going to be getting more this year now because he's going to be utilized, and it'd be less of a hit if they have to remove themselves next year. I mean, that's what I would do if I was smart, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we only had like 9 in cap space, so I'm pretty sure we absolutely had to make it 2 years just to
spread it out.
And and you always need at least a little bit of flexibility. If guys get hurt, you can bring a guy from the practice squad up. You got to pay them a little bit more.
Which another thing, I have to say that reason right there, right, you said, Dan O'Shea, is why I hate, and thankfully my leagues have moved them back. I hate leagues that draft so early because I've literally watched people drafting on preseason nights who drafted a guy, and no more than 2 minutes later, he gets his knee ripped apart.
Yeah, yes. I think
that happened to me with Travis Etienne.
Somebody did that with J.K. Dobbins not too long ago.
Listen, I think it was the first time I ever did fantasy, and I was going to draft Chad Pennington. That night, he got hurt, like moments before I was going to draft him.
Well, you were one of the lucky few, because when the J.K. Dobbins thing happened, I remember him going, "Oh yeah, I think he's going to do really well." He was on like a 5-minute rant between the table of us. We do this live in person, and he was talking about why he went with him as one of his keepers. This is a dynasty league where you get 5 keepers and you can keep them as long as you want. And he was talking about this, and like as he's talking about it, somebody goes, "Oh yeah, because he just had his knee put through the shredder." So good call.
Yeah, I was so high on J.K. Dobbins. Oh man, I'm
still not sold that he won't be good. I mean,
I think he'll be excellent. An ACL is not a big deal anymore, but
no, I mean we saw what Adrian Peterson changed in drafts. Again, that was why one of my bold statements with ETN being a comeback player of the year. I think nobody's going to pay him any mind, and he's got a lot of skill to be very good.
Shit, fucking Achilles injuries are going to no longer be an issue after fucking everyone thinks they're Cam Akers. But
yeah, I mean, he got the new procedure done that is supposed to be the game breaker with that. So I guess we'll see if that's true or not.
Yeah.
So this is going to be completely off topic, and I know it's not one of the 5 categories. But did any of you happen to catch the news about how Chris Sale ended his season this year?
So the story was it was a biking accident?
Yes. So let me just put this in perspective. This guy spent a year and a half coming back from Tommy John surgery to come back in his first game and gets a line drive to him. And what does he do? He puts his bare hand out to try and catch the ball. Goes off of his pinky finger, breaks it, and then now you break a digit, you're out 4-6 easily. So, especially for a pitcher. And then he's biking, and he injures himself again, requiring surgery to end his season.
That's the official story.
Is he going to lose money for that? Because I know a lot of contracts have stuff like if you get injured doing a sports activity that's not our sport.
Probably not. In the major league, everything's guaranteed.
Well, and
that's true.
And
these baseball contracts are ridiculous.
And also, one thing that gets overlooked a lot, and they were talking about it when Dak got hurt. They were worried last year about him playing on the franchise tag and losing money because that's not that's guaranteed to him. Jerry Jones said, "Listen, we're not worried about it. We're going to make sure he gets his money. Everything's going to be okay." But also we have insurance on these guys, so they have insurance on their athletes, on their assets. So.
I just had to send you guys a meme that I stumbled across, and I love that these memes are happening, and I've seen so many of them with different players. They need to keep going. Kudos to the guy who came up with this.
Oh, I just hate seeing it because it reminds me of how everyone thinks...
of the A's, I know.
How not even just that, just How everyone thinks that fucking Moneyball is something to aspire to, and not just an owner being a cheap piece of shit.
No, I mean, it was a nice aspiration, but what kills me about that movie, and I'll stand by it till the day I die, is the fact that the movie overlooks the fact that their starting pitching rotation was so fucking ridiculous. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, yes, I have a fucking picture that I sent you guys of it. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, but the movie doesn't bring any of that up.
No.
Did they win the World Series?
They didn't win shit!
No. They went on to
Why?
That's the point!
They went on to the playoffs and did all... I mean, their big thing was that they had I believe they still hold the record for the longest winning streak in baseball history during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely good on the GM and everything for making do with a cheap owner, but like that's not what you should aspire to.
Dude, not even kidding. Listen to the fucking the pitching. Wait, what year was Moneyball?
You're asking too many questions now.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Hang on, I'll find the year. Give me a second.
So the year that
2003.
Yeah. So the book came out in
2002 season.
It was about the 2002 season. So I'm gonna pull up the fucking A's pitching in 2002, and it's gonna be fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. We're talking about multiple Cy Young winners that went on to win with other teams, but.
Yeah. Dude, Tim Hudson was part of that group. I know that.
Oh, look at all these great players that go on to win with other teams.
Dude, no, okay, here, listen. Oh my god. Shit. Here we go. Pro Baseball Reference. Don't want the batters. Okay, pitchers. The pitchers. Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder, Aaron Harang, Corey Little, Jeff Lamb. Let's see, who else?
It doesn't matter. Their core four rotation all went on to be monsters in other places. The sad thing is the A's, and I hate to, sorry, Dan, I'm sorry I opened this door, but and we've already walked through it. So the sad thing is the A's are literally a major league farm system for the rest of the league.
That's not even like, listen to this. I think it's 2012. Their pitching.
That's not even controversial.
Their pitching staff: Joe Blanton, who was good; Jerry Blevins, who was good; Dallas Braden, who was very good. Let's skip down a couple: Justin Ducharme, who was great. Let's skip down a little more: Rich Harden, who was fucking phenomenal; Dan Herron, who was fucking phenomenal; and Chad Godin, who was very solid. How did that pitching staff not win shit? How? They're so good. They were so good.
No run support. That's the problem. There's always an Achilles heel, and then they trade him off thinking, we'll rebuild and we'll be there in a couple of years. No, you're going to get a bunch of talent in a couple of years, and you're going to trade them thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Rinse, wash, and repeat with those people. But on a side note, I have to say, I am loving the Mets closers entrance. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic.
Oh, the National Women's Week closer music that they're walking up to?
No, I'm talking about the Mets closer, Diaz, I want to say is his last name. He's got this, it's called, what is it called? It's called Narcos, and it's literally like high trumpets blaring. It's fantastic. Best closing music in the game right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm telling you, you got to look it up. There's stories about it because this one guy somehow convinced his fiance. He was like, "Hey, if I can get 39,000 likes, can we use this as our introduction song for our wedding?" And she was like, "Yeah, you're never going to get 39,000 likes." And he ended up getting something like 24,000. No, it was 3,900 likes, and he ended up getting something like 24,000, including Diaz himself.
That's insane.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I've talked to my wife, and I was like, it seems like a cop out if we don't actually do it now."
Yep, it does. Yeah.
I was like, dude, you better ride that. You better film that shit.
All right, we are so far off topic. Let's
Yeah. What's the second one?
Second topic, Roquan Smith requesting a trade. This obviously has happened in the NFL before, but it happens way more in the NBA. Are we going to see this happen more in the NFL? Recently, we've had Deshaun Watson. We've had Baker Mayfield request a trade, although I feel like his situation is a little different. Now we got Roquan Smith. Is this something we're going to see creeping from the NBA much more into the NFL?
Players request a trade?
What?
I thought they had one of their offensive linemen request a trade too.
I mean, it's not like they have any offensive linemen worth anything right now, so they shouldn't be denying those trades. But
my simple answer to your question is yes. We're 100% going to see this way more often. Look at the way that it's gone before, because before demanding or requesting firmly, however the hell you want to put it, a trade, we had players holding out over contracts. They weren't going to show up. They'll show up when their paycheck is affected. But it's just another avenue and another threat that they can use. If you're not going to pay me, if you don't value me, trade me, I'll hold out. I don't care, do something. They realize that some of their players, if you are a key member of, if you're one of the top 5 on either side of the ball, you have that power.
Right.
And the more people flex it, the more common we're going to see it happening.
Especially high-profile players like Deshaun Watson.
Well, yeah, but I mean, his situation is all kinds of fucked up. Because he requested that, and then all of a sudden, 26 women, 30 women, whatever it is, come out of the woodwork, and he gets slapped on the wrist for a 6-game suspension for all these assaults.
That's topic 3. We'll get to that in a few minutes. That's the next topic.
Okay, well, then I'll hold off on it because that's fucking mess.
He was also a unique situation for requesting or demanding a trade, whatever, because a lot of players will hold out until they get a new contract or get a trade. Now, he signed a contract and then demanded a trade. Like, what? And some people who don't remember the chain of events say, well, yeah, but then they traded DeAndre Hopkins. No, he signed that contract months after they traded DeAndre Hopkins. It was done after the trade. He signed a new contract, making him a very highly paid football player, and then said, I don't want to play here. Why'd you sign the contract? What the fuck?
What? Get your money and then tell the team that you're dog shit now and I want out of here so someone else can pay this.
That's like Anthony Davis. Didn't he sign a new contract and then demand a trade?
Probably.
I think he did.
Could you imagine what that Pelicans team would be if they had Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson on the team?
The Knicks would have Zion. I don't subscribe to many conspiracy theories, but I think the NBA wanted Anthony Davis to stay in New Orleans so bad that they were going to keep him there, try to keep him there, and give him whatever he wants. And when that didn't happen, they had to replace him with another star and made the Pelicans the number one.
So you're literally going to the cold or the frozen envelope theory?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Same.
Okay. Right.
Same thing. I think.
Fine. But I do think you're going to see players in positions like this, if negotiations aren't going well, to try and force the ownership's hand. To be honest, I don't mind it. I really don't. Because the owners have for years, and every owner in every major sport holds the upper hand. They make over 50% of the profit. That means everyone else on the team, staff, vendors, all of that.
Yeah.
They make less than 50%, and the owners make the majority of it. The players have little recourse, but if you can force the hand and force people into situations where it's either sit down, trade me, I won't play for you, yeah, I mean, without these players, you don't have a product. So if you're going to be at the top of your class, I mean, take your swing. Swing the hammer when you can. Might as well.
Yeah.
you're only here for a finite amount of time. Those owners will be there until they're put into a grave.
Yeah.
And a couple players, you don't know how long that's going to be. You're one injury away from your career being over.
Right. And also, the players gave up a huge amount of power in the CBA last time around. So it'll be interesting to see what they can even do with holdouts and stuff. I can't believe they signed that CBA. I think it's going to lead to a holdout because I don't think the Players Association completely screwed the boot shot on that. They signed away so much power that they could have held on to. You know, the owners want an extra game. They're going to want yet another extra game if rumors are true. They want to make it an 18-week season. And like the players gave up a ton with getting almost nothing back besides weed no longer being a thing that they get tested for. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see shake out.
Yeah, and
they did, but quite frankly, they have one of the worst players' associations in professional sports, considering how much money they can make. Easily.
Before, I want to ask Dan Beebe what he thinks about the holding out and the trades and all that. But this reminds me what you just said, Tony, about how the owners will be there until they die, and the players are only there for a finite amount of time. I might be getting the people wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure George H.W. Bush was the head of the FBI, and Jimmy Carter, I think it was, wanted information on a few different topics, and George H.W. Bush was like pushing back politely, and then Jimmy Carter got a little testy with him, and Bush said, listen, you're a temporary employee. This is a need-to-know basis. So that just anytime someone says something about temporary employees or you're only here for a short amount of time, for whatever reason, that just pops into my head. It's fucking hilarious. Imagine telling the president, you're a temporary employee. You don't need to know this.
I mean, it's a baller statement, but I mean...
So fucking baller. I want to use that like in my day-to-day life sometimes. Someone asks me a question, I'll be like, listen, you're a temporary person in my life. You do not need to know this.
I want to use the Tom Segura line where he talks about best customer service reaction he ever got after complaining about somebody else in a movie theater. He walked up to the manager and he was like, hey, there's somebody in there with a baby that's crying. And the manager goes, some people suck, and just walked away.
That's hilarious. Dan Beebe, what are your thoughts on players demanding trades?
I mean, it makes sense from a business perspective. So, I mean, if you want to be somewhere, how do you know to take that risk? So,
yeah, I'm trying to
for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other NFL players that demanded. Minkah Fitzpatrick, another quote unquote high profile player, but he was just trying to get out of that shithole that is Miami, so that makes sense. But Roquan's just trying to get out of the shithole that is Chicago, so that makes sense. Yeah, I think there are many more instances in the NBA than you see in the NFL, but I do think it's going to come to the NFL in a much higher frequency. Baseball, I don't know, because we just had a very similar situation with Juan Soto, who instead of demanding a trade just said, I don't want to be here, so I'm not going to sign another contract, which I feel is a little more honorable than saying, please trade me. He's saying, I'm just going to ride out my contract and I'm not going to sign with you again. Which, I don't know, kind of feels like a slap in the face, but also it's respectful, I think.
I mean, there's
the old respectful slap to the face.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of, like, if you look into it, there's a couple of players legendary players that have demanded trades. I'm just going down a list of one that I pulled up in 2019. People that have demanded trades that were older than we think. Eric Dickerson, Randy Moss, Jerome Bettis, Antonio Brown, Marshall Faulk, Brett Favre, Joe Montana, John Elway.
Well, and Eli Manning. Different situation.
Nope.
But
Eli Manning didn't demand that trade. His daddy did.
Okay, you're Archie Manning. Yes, but yeah, demanded that that he not go to the Chargers, which
He's not fucking playing in San Diego. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not going to do him like you did me. I already gave you one of my sons to fucking Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
I'm trying to make money in this family. Get out of here.
All right, we got to take a break, but we'll be back in just about, I'd say probably about 30 seconds. You are listening to Dan D'Antoni Sports. All right, and welcome back to Dan D'Antoni Sports. All right, we're going to continue on with the way we do the news. Topic number 3, Tony, I told you this was going to be next. And like I said, here we go. Tony, finally time to talk about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, this whole saga has been going on with Deshaun Watson for almost 2 years now. He sits out a year. Gets his new contract, sits out. These allegations come out. He gets traded to the Browns, and he gets suspended. And I just dumbed it down in the absolute most fucking kindergarten possible explanation. Suspended 6 games. The NFL, Roger Goodell, thinks that he should be suspended much longer. And I've seen the NFL has said 16 or 17 games, the full season. I've also seen some people within the NFL have suggested that they pursue 1 game per victim suspension. I feel like it's much more likely that we see them meet in the middle between 6 and 17, so probably somewhere around 12. But what do you think? Do you think he's going to get just the 6? Do you think it's going to be a full season? Do you think it's going to be longer? What he's been accused of is truly vile, truly disgusting, heinous. Every word that you've ever heard on Law & Order SVU, you can, use on Deshaun Watson. If the allegations are true, we don't want to call him guilty because he hasn't been found guilty. There's no criminal trial. But to just discredit and discount the victims is also disgustingly incorrect. So
he's guilty of being a cunt.
You're fucking right.
I called it last week, or 2 weeks ago. I think we skipped last week. In my bold predictions, and I don't think he sees the field this year. And I think that's the minimum of the punishment he should face. Like, honestly, women come forward, I don't see how you can say, oh, there's nothing to that, or like, oh, they're all just looking for money.
Even if half of them are lying. Even if half of them are lying. There's no way that they're all lying. There's no way. I'm positive that there are piggybackers on this. Now, I disagree. I think that Roger Goodell's going to be realistic. I think one per victim is absolutely asinine. There's no way they're going to sit him out for 2 seasons. I mean, Goodell might ask for that, but that seems out of control to me. I honestly think Goodell is going to swing for what he thinks would be realistic in their minds, and that's the entire year. But I think he'll settle for the 12. That's just me personally.
Now, just going based off of what you had said about how you think there are piggybackers, and how there's no way he didn't do some of this. He definitely did. He has texted these women after apologizing for making them do things they didn't want to do. He literally has apologized. You don't...
Okay, well, then it's confirmed. Now, do I believe every single one? Maybe not. I mean, I could see that there's some people that were propositioned but didn't go along with it that are trying to jump on the whole thing. I mean, it's hard to sit there and believe all 30 people or whatever it is, but even so, there is no doubt that this dude did this shit. I mean, think about, fathom how many fucking games that were taken away from the potential greatness of Josh Gordon because he smoked weed, and this guy is a predator of women, and we're just like, 6 games seems fair.
Exactly. The NFL needs to send a strong message with this, in my view. If they just kind of like are going to continue to try to sweep this under the rug, you're turning off like tons of fans. They've been making this big push to get women, involved as fans of the NFL. Like, say goodbye to that if you're just going to give them a slap on the wrist. Like, you need to come down hard on this and make an example of them.
Yeah, not only women, but a lot of young people who watch it are also, not very happy with how things are turning out. I have 2 points I want to make. First, let's.
I'm not young and I don't like how things are turning out.
Let's go back to the whole Josh Gordon thing. Yes, you have Josh Gordon who was suspended 47 games, I think it was, for smoking marijuana. You have other players who were suspended for smoking marijuana.
This dude was at one point he was banned from the NFL indefinitely for smoking pot.
It's
not even a performance-enhancing drug.
It is in a hot dog eating contest, I guess, but...
That's debatable because that's debatable. You know how quickly you can get distracted?
I actually don't. But anyways...
well, I can tell you can get distracted.
So, other notable suspensions. Tom Brady, 4 games for deflating some balls. Which messes with the integrity of the game. Yeah. Calvin Ridley, 17 games because he gambled when he wasn't even with the team, which we've talked about.
His own bad team.
I'm going to have to throw in a little bit of Homer here. Ezekiel Elliott got suspended for shit that was proven false, to which the judge said, we have whoever they use, their arbitrator or whatever, said, we have no evidence that he did this. In fact, we have evidence that says she did it to herself and is trying to extort him.
Right.
And he still got suspended.
How many games?
For 6 games, right?
It was 6. It got taken down to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense to me in that rationale at that time period. But I mean, you know what also kills me is the fucking lead person doing this was a fucking female. What kind of message does that send on top of it?
Yep. And going off of the second part where I said, the young people don't like it, you're alienating the women. What about and I'm going to, expose a little bit of my personal life here. What about those of us who are going to have daughters? Yes, surprise, November, having a daughter. What about those of us who, are worried about what are things going to be like for our daughters when these assholes are doing this? So you're losing.
The thing is, the fact that we're having this conversation now, and because it becomes public knowledge so fucking quickly, actually gives hope for that kind of thing. The fact that we're sitting here saying how fucking lackadaisical the NFL is being on this bullshit is progress, but it's only progress if the NFL actually fucking does something.
And we've seen, especially when it comes to issues with women outside of Ray Rice, there have been really no consequences. Fucking Joe Mixon didn't get suspended at all. Greg Hardy got a slap on the wrist. No one gave a fuck about Greg Hardy. Tyreek Hill fucking broke his kid's arm. There's just so many things that the NFL sweeps under the rug, and then I don't want to diminish or lessen the severity, but fucking Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg and went to fucking prison. Alright? Fucking Michael Vick did the dog fighting. Yes, terrible, I know, but I'm sorry, if I have to rank crimes, rape is worse than dog fighting.
But again, you're talking about all these fucking terrible things, but yet the NFL is like fucking Mr. Mackey and drugs are bad, okay?
Yeah, they literally don't do shit. And it's like, we care about women. And then as they're saying that, their fucking fingers are crossed behind their backs.
Yeah,
but in the same breath, we're also sitting here and saying that all these guys that were suspended for smoking pot and everything, fucking Aaron Rodgers comes out saying he was using psychedelics, and the NFL was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's. I said that to my friends. Like I shared in Facebook Messenger in a group message I have with my friends. Aaron Rodgers, the NFL says ayahuasca, whatever, how we pronounce it. The drink that he drank would not show up on drug tests. I immediately forwarded and said it would for Josh Gordon. So, and then I had to use like Cole Beasley as another example because I didn't want to like make it about Aaron Rodgers is white and Josh Gordon is black, because Cole Beasley's been in trouble for shit like this before and he would again. So it's Aaron Rodgers is a favorite because of who he is. And I don't think Lamar Jackson...
let's be honest. This whole thing has to do with the fact that fucking legitimately the NFL is a kangaroo court.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, they're making up shit on the fly. They're like, yeah, I don't know. I mean... How the fuck does Frank Gore go and do some fucking Ray Rice shit in the same motherfucking hotel? I'm gonna be in that hotel in 3 months.
Was it really the same hotel? Oh my god, I didn't see that.
Atlantic City.
Dude, and then...
Wow.
Tropicana. Yeah, I'm gonna be in that hotel in 4 weeks.
And then fucking, what is going on with former NFL players? Marshawn Lynch arrested for DUI in Las Vegas, which... in the last year, has had 5 NFL players arrested for DUI, including fucking Henry Ruggs.
Did you see the?
I feel like you gotta be a special kind of fucked up to get pulled over in Vegas too.
Well, did you see the pictures of his car in Vegas?
No, I didn't. But they said he was
riding on 3 tires and a fucking rim.
Yeah, and he was when the police got to him, he was asleep.
That's definitely going to get you pulled over by the police because they're going to be like, oh, that car seems to be sparking every 2 seconds. Wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
So here's the one thing I want to bring up too on this is that the NFL is gonna do what sells, and that means that the fans also need to step up because the fans have shown that they don't care about a lot of this stuff. The NFL has this shit happen. They slap a random suspension. Life goes on. People still root for their team. Still root for the guy that did this egregious shit. People are still rooting for Tyreek Hill. Miami fans are psyched that they got him.
Dude, I was walking.
Browns fans are ecstatic about this 6-game ban. They're like, "Oh, Deshaun Watson is going to be able to play for most of the season still." So the fans have to step up too and stop buying the product. If I was a Browns fan, I would have burned my stuff at the moment they traded for Deshaun Watson in the middle of this shit. And I encourage Browns fans to do that. Send a message to Haslam, and to continue to do that when these players pull this bullshit. Stop supporting these guys. If they're on your team, send a message to your team and attempt to get them off of your team.
Listen,
because until we, the fans, stop buying the product, the NFL isn't going to give a shit because their profits don't get touched.
Absolutely. And
I literally watched a kid last night walking in the Altamont Fairgrounds, because we went there because they're setting up, wearing a fucking Deshaun Watson Browns fucking jersey, and the kid couldn't be more than fucking 18. I was like, you are never going to get near a girl who has any idea what the fuck you're wearing. You are an idiot. You're literally telling the rest of the world, I support Predator.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up something with the Cowboys, then we got to move on so we can finish the show. Cowboys have a player, Kelvin Joseph, goes by Bossman Fat. He's a rapper. Just a few months ago was questioned in connection to a murder that happened in Dallas. He was with the guy in the vehicle who shot out of the window and killed the guy. I'm done with him. Fuck him. He's done. He's accessory to murder. You're done. Fuck you. Done. You should be in prison because this fucking, poor woman worried about where her son was for days before his body was found. And wondering who killed her son, and you just sat on your fucking hands knowing what happened. I get you don't want to snitch. That's your boy. Fuck you. Go to prison. Prison. Bye. Gone.
Here's the thing, and I think that this should just be universal. If you're a fucking criminal, I don't give a shit that you play a sport well. There isn't a different set of rules for you, and Dan O'Shea is completely right. The fans need to speak to stop idolizing this, but the people in power and the people that are doing this need to fucking also come clean too, and be the fact that you have to be honest with yourself. You're literally enabling this fucking behavior, and I have no pity for fucking millionaires playing a fucking game.
That's a good
I don't care what game that is.
That's a good point. And last word on this, Dan Beebe, before we move on.
And it's ridiculous.
Dan, you could just say fuck them, and that's great last word.
That's a good point. I agree. Fuck them. Thank
you.
Hashtag fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
All right. Our topic number 4 of 5. This one I think we can just talk about really quick. It's not anything big. Have you guys noticed, have you been paying attention to training camp stuff, that there seem to be a lot more fights going on in training camp? The Saints have had players kicked out for fighting, including a rookie. What's the fucking offensive lineman they got?
From Northern Iowa, I forget his
Ty
name.
Pennington.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, he got kicked out of practice for fighting. At the Cowboys-Broncos joint practice today, there were 11 different times that the practice stopped because there were fights. I'm sure you've all seen the meme of the fucking Giants player dragging the other Giants player.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does it seem like these fights are happening more and more recently?
No, I think it is happening a little bit more, but I'll just give my perspective on this so that we can move quickly. I think that some of it has to do with fresh competition. I think also some of it has to do with pent-up aggression from overly aggressive athletes dealing with fucking COVID. They get to take it out. They finally get to take it out, and one slight insult, because they haven't been dealing with the same kind of routine that they've been dealing with, sets them off.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. I hadn't thought of it like that, but it does make sense. It just, I like aggressiveness, but I think if you're going to fight someone especially your own teammate, like, that's the kind of bullshit that, like, what's his name? The Earl Thomas. Like, you're just going to fucking go punch your cornerback because he blew coverage? Like, that's why you're not on a team right now. Because you're trying to fight your fucking teammates. Like, no one wants that. Like, don't take any shit, but
yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially when it's your own team. I see that. I can get behind that entirely.
And I understand it. Like, if you are someone, like, on the Steelers, let's say you play right tackle for the Steelers. I don't even know who that is. And in practice every day, you've got fucking TJ Watt lined up against you. You're going to have a bad fucking day every day. So I get, like, being annoyed, being agitated, or whoever the fucking anyone on the offensive line for the fucking Chargers now that they have to worry about fucking Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Like, it's just, I get you're going to have bad days, you're going to have trouble, and it's going to be frustrating. But the last people you want to fight are your fucking teammates. The last people you want to fight are the people that are responsible for having your back. So, that's all I got to say on that. Anyone else? Nope, doesn't sound like it. All right. Topic number 1/5. This is the one where I think we're all going to be able to do like a little like guessing game or prediction kind of thing. Odell Beckham Jr. still not with a team. Where does he end up? Does he end up back with the Rams? Does he end up with another team? The three teams that I've seen.
I don't think the Rams can afford him.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know their what's it called? Their cap situation.
They're right up against the cap.
I mean, it makes sense. They've signed a lot of players, but the three teams that I have seen that make the most sense based on things are the Jets, the Cowboys, and the Bills. What are your thoughts?
Nope. Bills is an interesting one. I don't really see the Jets signing him. We just spent all of our remaining money on Brown, so we can't afford him either. And Cowboys could certainly be interesting. You know, Dak likes to spread the ball around, but then again, they gave up Amari Brown for peanuts, so I don't know if they want to pay a receiver. I also don't know what OBJ is going to cost. You know, he's coming off of another injury, but he was really good for the Rams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and in the Super Bowl. Hey, he was very good in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
He was electric.
You're not going to really like this. Well, Dan Beebe's really not going to like this. So, I think the longer it goes, because of giving out Cole Beasley, just the name on the back of his jersey is going to draw attention, and you're going to want that attention to free up Stephon Diggs for the big plays. And because Odell Beckham's bread and butter is a 4-out slot slant route, one of those two, and the fact of how quickly Josh Allen can get the ball out, I think that the Bills will wait till the season starts and then let the value or the amount of money that Odell Beckham is willing to take, unless he signs somewhere else that's unpredictable. He could go to Pittsburgh, or he could go...
What about the Buccaneers?
Maybe, but I just don't... I don't know that...
Assuming Tom Brady doesn't retire, because all of a sudden he's absent.
Well, what would his role on the Buccaneers be, though? Because they've got Mike Evans, they've got Godwin, and they signed Julio.
Godwin's coming back from injury. We don't know if he'll be. Well, I guess you could say the same thing about OBJ and Godwin's timetable sooner. So that's true.
I was think I see him.
Slot guy. I don't know if you're putting Julio in the slot.
I still think that Buffalo will probably wait and get him on the cheap because he's already got a relationship with Von Miller. He doesn't need to be the guy, but that's a weapon that gives you an over-the-top advantage out of just potential alone, just dumping to him in a quick, I need 4 yards real fast. And on top of it, his name also frees up the running backs to do their thing. I mean, it would be ironic, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there.
If I'm OBJ, I'm waiting. I'm in no hurry. I'm still rehabbing. So I'm waiting for a contending team to have one of their top wideouts go down for the season, and then I'm signing with them for a bag.
Yeah.
So who that is, we'll see. There's always an injury. There's always some wideout is going to get injured. Some marquee wide receiver.
Watch this asshole go to the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, if they start off well to begin the season, then I could see it. I don't think he wants to go into a rebuild, though. Like what they're projected to do.
Odell spent a lot of.
He didn't win a ring though, so maybe now he just wants a bag. I don't know.
Hey, Odell is one of the more unpredictable wide receivers. He literally could end up almost anywhere unless somebody has cap space to spend, but. Like I said, I solely believe the Bills are going to do one of two things. They're going to try and grab McCaffrey. They're going to try and grab McCaffrey at some point during this year because the Panthers accept that it's a complete fucking overhaul, or they're going to sign someone like OBJ.
So,
sorry, BB.
Here's why I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to be a Bill. I think he wants to be in a big market in warm weather. So, to me, and it's also got to be a place that makes sense. To me, the only place remaining that makes sense, warm weather, big market, is the Chargers. Dallas doesn't need him. By the time he comes back, they're going to have Washington and Gallup back. So, he's not going to be needed in Dallas. Do we know what James Washington's going to be? We don't know. But they're focused on CeeDee Lamb being the number one and Jalen Tolbert right now, the rookie, being the number 2 until Gallup comes back. Gallup reinserts himself in the number 2. Tolbert and Washington would be fighting for number 3. And then...
Yeah, but... See... to me, Odell has to accept the fact that you're a number 3. You may be a number 2 if you want to go to a poor team, but if you're saying that he wants to be a contender, he's got to be a number 3. That may work in LA with the Chargers, but I still think to Odell Beckham it's about prime time, and that's why I think he would go to Buffalo, because Buffalo Bills are going to experience more primetime games in this year than they've ever experienced in their entire fucking run.
There's one other team that I had considered that breaks some of my rules, and that's the Chiefs. Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. They're replacing him with Juju Smith-Schuster. He would step in and immediately be the best quote-unquote wide receiver. Not the best receiver, because that's still going to be Travis Kelce. But he would be the best wide receiver on the team.
Yeah, that would be a cunty move that Andy Reid would do.
Yeah, it definitely would. So I don't think Buffalo is going to do it because I don't think he likes the cold.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that Buffalo is waiting to see how the season progresses because Buffalo can do good things in the beginning of the season, and I still think that they're going to try and if McCaffrey is healthy enough and that team is terrible, which I don't think they're going to be very good. They don't have much there. I mean, you've got 2 quarterbacks that were drafted in the first 5 picks of the same draft, and you don't even know who you're going with. Like, that team is in chaos, and they need to accept their fate and scrap it and try and run it again or rebuild it somehow. And the best way to do that is to dump it off to somebody. I think the Bills probably are holding off for McCaffrey well before they would ever even think of the fact that OBJ would be on there. Not to mention, Buffalo has a lot to give. Buffalo's depth on defense alone is so staggering, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, when talking to other people about the Bills, I really like their running backs, and for whatever reason, they don't like to seem to run with anyone other than Josh Allen. And I was wondering...
That has nothing to do with it. Josh Allen just takes off.
Well, yeah. Well, they do call a lot of designed quarterback runs, but like if you put a running back in, we're just talking about the ones where teams have depth. Kareem Hunt wants a trade because he's not getting used the way he wants to. Tony Pollard. So, in my opinion, next year, I think is going to be Ezekiel Elliott's last year in Dallas. I think they're going to move on from him, and Tony Pollard is going to be the starting running back. Unless the Cowboys can trade Tony Pollard, to which Buffalo is a destination, or Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know. I think that if Zeke comes out...
Don't sleep on James Cook in Buffalo, man.
No,
Buffalo's got a lot of options. That's for sure. They need to settle on something. And the problem is, if you look at that, they can give up some of those running backs. And if you can get McCaffrey, he's a running back that, if healthy, can do everything you want him to do. You want him to kick it outside him. You want him to run up the gut. You want him to be out there on a pass. I mean, he proved in Carolina he can do it. Not a lot of people can account for 46% of an offense for an entire team.
That's crazy. But there are options if you're a running back needy team. Leonard Fournette could become available. Tony Pollard, Darrell Henderson, Kareem Hunt. There are plenty of options if you're a running back needy team that if you slightly overpay, you will get a good running back. So, I tooting the horn of a few of my favorite running backs. One that I also don't like, I don't think Miles Sanders lasts in Philadelphia much longer. I think Kenny Gainwell is going to win that job.
Yep.
Miles Sanders is in a prove it or lose it type situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eagles possibly have the best O-line in the NFL. If Miles Sanders can't get it done behind that, then he can't get it done.
Yeah. Like I said, and I'm a Penn State guy. Fuck Miles Sanders, first of all. But I was so pissed when Kenny Gainwell got drafted by the Eagles. I was so pissed because I like him a lot and I fucking hate the Eagles.
Yeah, well, apparently the Eagles really like Penn State. Then that being said,
Kenny in your late round fantasy draft, guys.
All right, guys. This has been the episode, and all we got left now is our This Week in Sports History. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right. I picked this date because it's my sister's birthday. On August 15th, 1993.
Yeah, it's Cindy's birthday. That's the wife's birthday.
It is. Yep. On August 15th, 1993, Nolan Ryan's 324th and final victory occurs in a Rangers 4-1 win over the Indians. Legendary career.
Okay. Nolan Ryan's career, if you look through his stats, he's almost a Wayne Gretzky of pitching.
Insane. And
I don't even like baseball, and I know that name.
and Jaromir Jagr. Jaromir Jagr's trying to get back in the NHL.
On top of it, I mean, he could also fight. So, I mean, there was that, too.
I mean, what's that meme going around? Robin Ventura, the first player in Major League Baseball history to get 6 hits off of Nolan Ryan in one inning.
Yeah. He did it forever.
Yep.
Gangster.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I want to add here at the end, congratulations and great move by the NBA to retire a player across the board being Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, yeah. Well deserved.
I have to tip my cap, tip my glass. It's definitely deserving. I understand why the NBA did it, but now that they've also done it, a part of me thinks that they probably should have done it when he was alive, but I understand why they're doing it now.
I mean, we're going to get to a point where I'm not a big fan of league-wide jersey retirements because they're going to have to do it for Jordan. They're going to have to do it for Kobe. Kobe's got 2. I mean, personally, I think they got to do it for Shaq, his 32. So it's going to get to a point where we're going to have a lot of numbers that have to be retired.
Yeah, that's true, but sports are going to have it.
Yeah, so it's potentially problematic if they do it for that many people. I don't know, Phil is kind of on a different level for me, but you could be right, Dan.
Yep.
I mean, I could see the gate that they're opening, but, I mean, given we've been here this long and there are only 3 people in all of Major League Sports who have had their jerseys retired league-wide, and that is Gretzky, Hank, and Bill Russell.
You mean Jackie?
So, Jackie, sorry.
Yeah,
not Hank. Jackie. Those are the only 3 that has had it done, and they're the only ones in their individual sports. You've got to do something momentous on and off and really make the argument for being one of the greatest of all time, because great Bill Russell quote kind of goes into, I guess, this week in sports history. Michael Jordan once talked to Bill Russell and told him, "We are coming for your record," and Bill Russell's response was, "Which one?"
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, guys, we're running out of time. We only got like a minute left. Thank you for listening. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the new format. It's definitely a lot more fun than it used to be. But check us out on Twitter at Dan D'Antoni. On Facebook, we are Dan D'Antoni Sports. I'm just going to give a quick little shout out to my friend Chris and his buddy Ray. They have a podcast called Dangerously Average Dudes. They're pretty new. Support them. Give them a check. If you want to send us an email, we are dandantonisports@gmail.com. So for Dan, Tony, and Dan, thank you all. Have a good night.